Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I am in front of the Verizon store, and we are going to talk about Jack Ducoeur. Jack Ducoeur in front of the Verizon store. Why am I in front of the Verizon store? Well, I'll tell you. We're going to talk about cell phone pings. We're going to talk about cell phone records. Jack Ducoeur, the boyfriend to Kaylee, seems like he was cleared very, very quickly. I'm suspect of that. I'm sure many of you out there that have been following this case has been suspect of that. Anyone new that's been following the case, 4 college students brutally stabbed in Moscow, Idaho during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022 inside a home. Police have made no arrests. No suspects were publicly named at this time. It's a mystery. Let's talk about Jack Ducoeur. Now, a lot of you speculate out there that Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack Ducoeur, could be involved. And I think that too. I really honestly think that Jack Ducoeur should explain himself to the public, or the police come out and explain why they feel Jack Ducoeur is not involved. Now, these stabbings happened on the 13th of November. Media reports starting around the 24th of November, so we're talking 11 days later, started coming out saying that police do not feel the boyfriend is involved. And when I say that is because on the night of the stabbings, or in the middle of the night, the early morning hours of November 13th, between 2:30 to 2:50 range, Kaylee called Jack Ducoeur her boyfriend multiple times. And I'm hearing that also Madison Mogan, Kaylee's friend, also called Jack Ducoeur. Kaylee and Madison are 2 of the victims, by the way, for anyone that's new following the case. Now, I saw a report by Newsweek around the 24th, in that range of November, from Kaylee's sister, Olivia. And she gave a statement, and I want to share that with you here right now. Check it out. She says that Jack Ducoeur was sleeping. Jack Ducoeur was sleeping. But was he really sleeping? I'm looking for tech people that know the phone business, cell phone business. Now, when I say that they recalled Jack Ducoeur's phone, let's assume it's a cell phone, right? It's not assume it's a landline that they called. Most people use cell phones nowadays. I don't know why people would even have a landline nowadays. And it's safe to assume that they called Jack on a cell phone. How easy is it out there to be able to get cell phone records on somebody? For instance, police are saying that the boyfriend is cleared. How did they determine that? Did they determine that off digital evidence, which would be the cell phone? So, did Jack give authorities his phone for the police to analyze? And even if Jack gave his phone over to authorities to analyze, you think the authorities would have to corroborate that by getting cell phone records, in particular PINGS. Very loud out here. PINGS. And also all the numbers Jack called before these stabbings happened and after. If police were to go get records on Jack Ducoeur through his service provider, Verizon, AT&T, Cricket, etc., how long does that take? And I'm wondering, because I've covered numerous cases in the past of missing people. In one particular case, I covered Kaylee Schulte, Crystal Turner, the murder case out of Moab, Utah, the 2 females that were found in the mountain range, LaSalle Mountains. And I talked to the prosecutor with that case. And I talked to the prosecutor 4 months after those murders happened. The prosecutor told me they are still waiting for cell phone pings and the cell phone records from the towers. And that was months later. So I'm curious, can police in this particular case, in Moscow, be able to get Jack Ducoeur's cell phone records within 11 days to say that determination that we don't think Jack is involved? Why don't the authorities think Jack Ducoeur is involved? Why? Because he gave his phone records and said, look, here's all the numbers I called. Because considering if police came to the house to ask him for his phone right there and catch him on the spot and say, hey, let's look at your phone, did Jack delete his contents and stuff off his phone before police came? Or did police call Jack and say, hey, we need you to come down to our building and talk? And then Jack starts deleting stuff. Because if you delete stuff, can police know things are being deleted? I think police need to corroborate through digital evidence where in fact Jack was that day. According to Kaylee's sister, Jack was sleeping. Where was he sleeping? I know Jack is part of a fraternity, a frat house that is about a mile away from where the stabbings occurred. Can anyone out there corroborate that Jack was sleeping? Because it'd be hard to get witnesses to say you were sleeping in the middle of the night when they're sleeping themselves. And digital evidence is very important with Jack. Not only his behavior beforehand, but his behavior afterwards. Police could go and see the call detail of every number he called, incoming and outgoing. They can go into the phone apps and see if he sent messages through different apps that he might have. For instance, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, Twitter, and see conversations he had at the time or people that he talked to. For instance, after these stabbings happened, where was Jack's phone pinged at? Where was it pinged at? Because, say for instance, it was pinged at a landfill or a dumpster or anything like that, maybe show that, hey, somebody threw evidence away. Because a lot of times in cases when it comes to electronic evidence, authorities, they see what you do afterward, after the crime was committed. Like, where did you go afterward? Or where did you go beforehand? Because if a ping shows that Jack Ducoeur hypothetically was at a sporting goods store a day before the stabbings, then hey, what were you at a sporting goods store? So I'm curious on why Jack was so-called, cleared. I'm not saying he was cleared, but the police said, we don't think this person's involved. Well, don't you think police should have done serious due diligence? Due diligence by getting his phone records to determine where he was at. Did Jack have alibis that can corroborate where he was at the time? See, a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to this case, and I'm a little bit suspect on Jack being cleared so quickly. So this segment's about digital evidence, phone records. Anyone out there that knows about phones, knows how long it takes to get phone records and everything, I would love to hear your input on this. I'm just baffled that everybody that police say are not involved were cleared so quickly, or saying they don't think they're involved. Now, that also could be an investigative tactic that police are using to get the suspects out there comfortable, saying, oh, well, I'm not under investigation, I'm clear, I'm out of the woods and stuff like that. So it might be a ruse on the police department, because the police can do that. Police can lie, and they do lie. Not saying they're lying here, but they could lie. And, digital evidence will be able to prove exactly where Jack is. Now, also, there is a theory, and there's a possibility that if Jack was involved, and we don't know at this time. He's not speaking. He's not talking. He's quiet. His family's not talking. Did Jack leave the phone behind and go to the house? Did he leave the phone behind? Just because people have phones doesn't mean they always take them with them in those moments. I leave the house all the time and go out and forget my phone or not bring my phone. I strongly don't recommend that. I strongly recommend people bringing their phone with them all times in case of emergency, right? So that's where I'm at here, following this case, studying this case to a T. I'm mind blown that there's no suspects out there at this time, considering I think that whoever did this is very close to the victims. Subscribe to my channel, like, hit the notification button. I want to hear your thoughts. Comment, please. No stone left unturned. Following this case extensively. Check out all my videos. I will continue to post, continue to provoke ideas, and we'll see where we go. Hopefully authorities solve this case soon, so stay tuned.